Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Vin Matano. Been in the tech sales space for the past 5 years. I post on my Instagram story that I'm going live on a Q&A, and I ask people to submit questions. I'm gonna be going through 5 of the top questions that are centered around tech sales and career health. There's also some bonus questions at the end that are just kind of fun and not related to tech sales at all. So without further ado, let's get into it. Question number 1, what are some sales tools that would make your job impossible to do without? So I have about 3 tools that I would not be able to do my job without. The first would be LinkedIn Sales Navigator. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a tool to allow you to search prospects, build org charts, and save leads so you can find the right person to reach out to and then the right information to personalize your outreach. LinkedIn also is gonna be the place that's most up to date because the first thing people do when they start a new job or get promoted is update their LinkedIn. The second tool would be some sort of email tracker. Now, at the company I work for, we use Outreach to send cadences and to identify who's opening and responding to an email. Now, for me, the main thing I'm looking for to see if I'm getting opens and engagements within the email I'm sending. If I send a really personalized email and no one opened it, I might send the same exact email copy and paste, but just change up my subject line. Now, if they opened it and engaged a ton, there's more than 8 opens, maybe they click the link that I have within the email, that tells me I'm on the right path and they're aware of me. They're engaging with some of my stuff, so I'm gonna continue to prospect into that account. Without those signals, it'd be really hard for me to do my job. And the third tool would be some sort of data provider. At the company I work for, we use our own tool, it's called Demandbase. It allows me to identify which prospects to reach out to, their mobile phone number, their email address. It is more of an enterprise tool, and there are some more affordable options for smaller companies like an Apollo or Seamless. But you need a database in order to pull leads. Okay, this next question is from Z Bingo. He says, he's currently a BDR. Would you go BDR Manager or AE? Pros and cons of both. This is definitely gonna depend on your personality type. I can share my own personal experience. When I was an SDR, I hit my kind of 1.5, 2 year mark and I was ready to get promoted. And there's options to go into management and manage BDRs, but there's also an option to go into a closing role, like an account executive. And I thought about it because I love the role of a BDR and I was really passionate about helping other BDRs succeed. For me, what I saw the most success in terms of like a financial gain would be to go into that account executive route. My mindset was that it would be extremely hard to move from a BDR manager to a closer because you still don't have that closing experience. But if you have the opportunity to get into an account executive role where you do get that closing experience and really the earning potential is almost unlimited with an account executive role. On top of that, if you're an account executive, the only thing you have to do is rely on your own number. So you crush it, you get rewarded, you reap the benefits. If you get tired of selling and you want to get out of the hunting and closing, you can move from an account executive to a BDR manager because you already have the BDR experience. So it's much easier to move from a BDR to an AE back to a BDR manager. It's not as easy to move from a BDR to a BDR manager to an account executive because again, you're missing that closing experience. On top of that, a BDR manager, you're really reliant on your team to hit their number. If your team is underperforming, you're gonna take the hit on that financially. My recommendation, if you could get out of the BDR role into an account executive role, go that route, try it out. Even if it's not for you, you can always find a BDR management role afterwards. Okay, this next question is what do entry-level base and commission salaries look like in your industry? Now, the entry-level role to get into tech sales is a business development rep or a BDR. Now, the goal of a BDR is basically just to book meetings with prospects through email prospecting, cold calling, and social selling. Now, if we look at RepView, we can see that the median salary for a BDR is $55,000 per year. That's the base salary. And then with an OTE, an on-target earning, an OTE is basically just your base salary plus your commission. So the median OTE earnings is about $80,000 per year for a BDR. Top performers can earn up to $127,000 per year as a BDR. I would say that's pretty accurate. When I was a BDR at Demandbase, we had a 60-40 split, meaning my base salary was 60% of my income and the other 40% was going to be earned through commissions. I was able to pass my OTE 2 years in a row, and so I made more than the OTE on both years. If you work really hard, you can make 6 figures as an SDR. I know plenty of people, including myself, that have personally done it. Now, don't think of the BDR role as something where you're gonna spend your entire career at. The average lifespan for a BDR is probably around that 2-year mark, and then you wanna get promoted into a management role, a closing role, or maybe a customer support role. And so use those years to really hone your skills, learn how to prospect, learn the product. So if you have a few offers on the table and they're like $5,000 apart, honestly, I wouldn't go chasing the higher bag. I would focus on a company that has the higher growth potential and a higher probability for you to get promoted out of that BDR role. Okay, this next question is, how was your transition from an SDR to an AE? So many of you guys might know that I was an SDR first, right when I graduated college. I was in that role for 20 months before getting promoted into an account executive. During my time as an SDR, I was able to hit my quota every single month consistently, before moving into a closing role. If you're also looking to make that transition from an SDR to an AE, my recommendation would be 3 things. 1, make sure you focus on hitting your number. I've seen way too many SDRs get really upset and anxious at that 1-year mark because they think they deserve a promotion. When in reality, you really need the headcount to allow you to get promoted. For me, I was a top performer on the SDR team, but there was no headcount for me to get promoted to an account executive role. So I could have went in 2 directions. I could have been upset and said I deserve a promotion and get mad at myself and let my number slip, and then I'll never get promoted because I'm not hitting my number. Or I could put my head down, focus on continuing to hit my number, so when the opportunity presents itself and there is a spot open, I'm the first guy in line. And that's what I did. And so I would recommend making sure that you meet with your direct manager and your potential future manager, aka the manager of account executives, and let them know about your interest in moving on to their team. Don't do it on your 1-year mark. Do it well before your 1-year mark, and use this script. I'm really enjoying my time here on the SDR team. I'm really enjoying learning how to prospect and how to sell our product. I do, however, have a goal to make it into the account executive team where I can learn how to actually close business. So I'm curious, what do I need to do now until my 1-year mark to make that transition? If you're talking to the account executive management, you might want to ask, what are you looking for in a BDR that's looking to get promoted into an account executive? You want to write down whatever they say and follow up with them on your progress. If they said, hey, we're looking for BDRs that actually can demo the product, ask your AE if there's any opportunities that they want to disqualify, and ask if you can take it. Start practicing your demos and your talk tracks towards those unqualified buyers. Then you can record yourself doing that, send it to the account executive management team and your BDR manager, and ask for their feedback. Once you get comfortable doing that, you'll show that you're able to actually close in their eyes. Document everything. Document how many deals you sourced, how many deals have closed that you sourced. Document how many opportunities you've sourced, how many of those opportunities went to pipeline, how many of those opportunities closed, your call to meeting conversion rates, your open and reply rates via email. Show your impact on the organization. This question is, how do you get so many email responses? Been struggling with no replies. Unfortunately, this is a common struggle that a lot of BDRs and account executives experience. The average executive gets over 125 emails per day. So when you're sending emails and cold calling and trying to get in touch with them over LinkedIn, you are battling for attention. The industry-wide reply rate is somewhere around 5%. So there's little success when actually reaching out to someone cold. However, there are some tactics that you can leverage to help increase your email reply rate. For me, I average around a 22 to 24% reply rate currently. And the way I'm structuring my emails is in 4 parts. The first part of your email should be an observation. For example, you might say, I noticed you're hiring for BDR managers. The second part of your email should be a problem, something that they're experiencing today. New BDRs may struggle on getting onboarded and ramped at a proper time. The third piece would be the solution. This is where your company's value prop comes in to help solve that problem. Demand-based helps lower ramp time by providing account insights to sellers to help them find opportunities. Just made that up. The fourth would be your CTA, your call to action. This is your ask. When I started in sales, I was taught to do time closes. Are you available next Tuesday to meet? But what we found in the data, and this was a study from Gong, is that interest-based call to actions were the highest performing CTAs that you can use. So you might end your email with something like, are you interested in learning more? Is this a pain point that your team experiences today? How would this solve the problem? You're asking for interest rather than the meeting. All right, we're gonna do some rapid fire ones. They're kind of random, but what was your weekly activity goals as an SDR? So when I was an SDR, my weekly activity goal, my daily activity goal was 60 activities a day. It could be derived from anything, whether it's email, call, social selling, videos. However you got to that number 60, didn't matter as long as you hit that. For me, I was mostly doing email, probably 40 activities were email per day, and then 20 were phone calls. You seem to work hard. How do you avoid burnout? I'm still working on this. I think every salesperson experiences burnout because we're in a performance-based role and we have so much pressure that's building on top of us. For me, the way that I avoid burnout is just doing things I love to do outside of work. Working out, that's going for a run. I love to cook, so it's trying new foods and cooking new foods. And just trying to break up the routine of the day-to-day. Wake up, go to work, eat dinner, go to sleep. Least favorite industry to sell into, don't lie, we all have one. I would hate selling into the cybersecurity space. I would absolutely hate it. Is your hair naturally curly? What products do you use to get your hair looking slightly wet and hold like that? I do like that wet look. I just recently started using this Shea Moisture. It's like leave-in conditioner, and this allows me to keep the curls. It gives me a little hold, and it does give that little wet look. So this is what I'm currently using today. Okay, and that's it. We did a Q&A session. If you guys enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments. I would love to do more of these with you guys. And I hope I provided some value and answered some questions for you. If you made it this far, just want to thank you. Please hit the subscribe button. It helps a ton with the channel. Stick around next week for the next video.